Urgenja, sonsuz UX, and this is when a canary hunted tigers and lost a wing. Canary, I like how you're using this like a given name to things like planes, I'm guessing planes, and tiger as in tiger tanks. So, yeah, what is a canary? 18-year-old Raimundo de Costa. Okay, so Brazilian squadron. Oh, P-47 Thunderbolt. Is that canary? So P-47 Thunderbolt hunted down tiger tanks. uh German tiger tanks, obviously. This was channel Yarnhub, insanely good channel. Recently, like quality has amped up a lot. I saw the F-16, F-16 Falcon who hunted hawks or something, right? That was the title. I saw a planes, like gunner went down with the wing type of thing. That was also insane. He survived and all that. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Let's watch it. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. I like videos like this. Obviously, I've been watching Factors on a lot, and yeah, this is basically stories of how things happen, which is really interesting, right? Growing up, I didn't care about history much. Now, since I've grown up a lot, right? I'm a proper adult. I'm like, history is really fascinating. World War II and all things like this. So yeah, let's watch it.
It's the 27th of January 1945, and skimming through the Italian mountains are two P-47 Thunderbolts. Inside the rear P-47 sits 18-year-old Raimundo da Costa Canario from the 1st Brazilian Fighter Squadron. He keeps up with his leader,
18-year-old.
Lieutenant Luis Lopez Dornelles. The men are on a free hunting mission, and as they roar around a cliff, they spot a column of German vehicles. Dornelles gets on the radio. The German column is made up of several vehicles, but Dornelles is right. In the midst of the column is the unmistakable hulking form of two Tiger tanks.
When I think of tiger tanks, I'm thinking of that, like that video game, IGI, right? Where like tanks are really terrifying, but it's really big. Like, like that's how it feels in the game. That's what I think of Tiger because it was how big and how different it was at the time, right? So yeah, an 18-year-old, like imagine that. Like people turn 18, like, oh, I'm gonna drive my first car. Nope, I'm flying my first Thunderbolt. Why not?
Canario is the first to pull around his P-47 and then line up the column in his sights. But the thrill of battle fills the young pilot, and picking up speed, he sets his crosshairs on the enemy formation. The column rushes for cover as the Germans turn all their defensive firepower towards the Brazilians. The roar of the 18-cylinder P-47 engines fills the air, and the Germans lift their machine guns to meet the threat head-on. Bullets fly towards the P-47. The Thunderbolt is hit with German lead, and the bullets make a noise like gravel on a windshield. Canario is showing nerve beyond his years and calmly pushes a button on top of the stick. And a barrage of rockets launches off at the armored targets below. Canario then squeezes the trigger. In response, 850 cals ring out. At maximum speed now, he strafes along the entire length of the column. Trucks are hit, bursting into fire. As he starts to level off, he's now low and over the target. He punches a bomb release with his left hand, and two 500-pound bombs release from his wings in quick succession. And they pile into the massive German tanks. Canario is already flying up and away when he sees green streaks passing by his canopy. On the ground, a German 20mm anti-aircraft cannon tries to chase the fast disappearing P-47. Canario pulls up and veers left, dodging the incoming barrage, and he tries to race for cover behind the cliff. But the deadly rounds are streaking past, each one closer than the last. It's Dornelles. Racing in, he has the cannon in his sights while it's pointing at Canario. Dornelles strafes the cannon and the Germans jump for cover. Just as he passes over, he pulls a bomb release. And pulls up from the explosion and inferno.
I love how this like whole like element of things, right? Like, we had like, okay, human soldiers, then like, wait a minute, what about tanks? Oh shit, you just changed the dynamic. Tank is terrifying. Then like, oh, what about jet planes? Tank ain't shit in front of a jet plane, right? Because any planes, right? Like fighter planes. Because tank can't target a fighter plane. A fighter plane is fighter plane. It's gonna come with a higher speed, drop some shit, and walk away. It's like nothing. Okay, what about anti-air? Like artillery, which is also problematic for planes. But then again, if you stay hidden, if you're not staying hidden, like yeah, they'll know what your position is. You basically fucked at that time. So jet in the sky is the ultimate threat, right? That's why, like, anybody from Air Force and things like that always looks cool and shit because they know they are the one who's gonna have the last kill. They're the one who's gonna have like a badass moments.
Obrigado, Luis. Quase perdi minhas pernas.
Coming round again, over the smoking wrecks of the two Tigers, the men spot something else. Further down the road is the unmistakable form of a third Tiger.
Estou entrando. Me dá cobertura. Logo atrás de você.
Dornelis takes a low angle, level with the road, with rockets at the ready. The Tiger gets closer and he opens fire. Rocket after rocket launch from his wings, streaking towards their target.
Vamos, vamos.
His heart sinks as he sees several miss. But then, the bloom of an explosion as one strikes the enemy on the suspension. The 56-ton machine is not going anywhere. Canario dives down to finish the job and fires off his last 4 rockets, reducing another piece of German engineering to rubble.
How many rockets are in one plane, man? Like, okay, that is becoming a thing of the past with the modern planes, right? Stealth planes, like 2-3 missiles at best. But then again, something like F-15EX is like now becoming even more of a heavyweight with tons of shit ton of missiles and things. If you're not a stealth, like why even pretend to be anything? Like screw stealth at that point. Just add everything. That's what 15EX is, right? EX? I don't know the code, but that's what it is, right? There's 115, which is like Silent Eagle. I think that's different. Other F-15, which is like it has way too many payload on it.
3 tigres abatidos em dia. Devemos chamar de águia.
But Dornelis gets on the radio with another target.
Veículo às 4 horas saindo rapidamente.
Below him, a half-track with a tarp covering the bed has driven onto the road and is speeding away. Under that tarp could be another anti-air weapon. If the Germans get it running, the fight could turn rapidly against them.
Me sigam.
Dornelis turns his P-47 into a dive. Canario follows hot on his heels. The 2 Thunderbolts are bearing down upon the speeding half-track. Dornelis opens fire first. The bullets ring out and fly over the top of the half-track, cutting into the trees along the roadside. The German driver weaves and pulls for cover. Dornelis has to pull up to prepare for another pass. Canario, though, has his eyes locked on the enemy. He pulls the trigger. The Thunderbolt shakes beneath him with the firing of the quad machine guns on each wing. The German only sees flickers of flame on the Brazilian aircraft before the string of bullet strikes appears before his eyes, headed right towards him. There's nothing he can do. The bullets tear through the half-track, round after round, punching through the thin steel, until one of them finds the ammunition. The half-track explodes in an abrupt and violent ball of black smoke. Canario roars past. He's racing away victorious. But the moment he looks
Yeah, when you're something like this plane hunting you, at that point just try to bail out because you know you're gonna be screwed. Too many guns, too many missiles.
away from the target, he realizes he's made a terrible mistake. A factory with a towering
shit.
chimney fills his vision. He pulls back on the stick hard, but it's no use.
It's not enough.
He feels the blood-curdling impact, followed by a violent roll to the right. He instinctively shoves the stick to the left, and his plane limps away. He caught the roll. Better yet, his trusty P-47 is ever so slowly rolling back to level. He holds the stick on full left and tentatively applies the left rudder. The plane responds. He's shocked. How could it still be flying? He looks out the window to see a third of his right wing.
Wait a minute, this is like that F-15 that like landed with only one wing type of shit. I didn't know P-47 Thunderbolt was that good. Man, this is like older planes. Like it's like during the wartime, you realize that these equipments were like really good. Like obviously newer technology is like newer technology. When you hear shit like this, it's like, damn, these planes were respectable.
Almost completely sheared off.
Recuperei o controle. Atingiu a chaminé.
Dornelis flies up alongside him, his eyes wide at the sheer scale of the damage.
Consegue voltar para casa.
Canario examines his instruments. The fuel's not leaking. The engine looks healthy. and everything appears to work.
Acho que sim.
But Dornelles can't hear him.
Da Costa, está me ouvindo? Consegue voar para casa?
Something's gone wrong. Canario can hear his leader, but his leader can't hear him back.
Consegue me ouvir? Entendido. Vamos pelo Adriático.
The planes head home together. All the while, Canario is focused on keeping control.
Over the waters.
Then a transmission comes in.
Avião à frente. Droga. O que vamos fazer?
It's the last thing they wanted to see. Two unidentified fighters in the distance, coming right towards them.
Mantém o curso, eu cuido deles.
The
Dornelles speeds up, leaving Canario behind, and the two unidentified aircraft turn gracefully and dive towards them. Dornelles pulls up, ready to meet the challenge head on. But then he realizes these aren't enemies, these are Spitfires. Dornelles immediately breaks off the attack and shows the side of his aircraft that prove he's a friendly. But it's too late, and the Spitfires power past, with Canario in their sights. The two Spitfires roar towards Canario as he tries desperately to maneuver.
Yeah, that's the last thing you fucking want. Spitfires. Not just any Spitfires of all, like supercharged Spitfires. In Britain, like there was a plane that had the most battle because it wasn't Spitfire, because Spitfires were better, right? There's a reason they were in higher numbers. I forgot the name of that, but that one. And the Spitfires were supposed to be flagship British planes, right? Supercharged engine and everything. So two Spitfires is up, after you in Thunderbolts. That's the last thing you want to see.
There's nothing he can do.
No way.
Tracers pour out of the Spitfire's wings. Canario's tail is torn to shreds and the aircraft starts to roll over. The unknown fighters roar by Canario, and he gets to see them up close. They're British. The two Spitfires come around for another attack.
Não, sou aliado.
Okay, how can he see that they're British and they can't see him? Like, this is not German. Imagine the people that Spitfires going back and fuck. Oh, we took down Germans. No, we didn't. We didn't took down Germans.
Pull up next to the Thunderbolt.
Oh, bloody hell, it's a P-47. Sorry, old chap.
The Spitfires waggle their wings in apology, then turn away.
Cacete, esses malditos britânicos quase me mandaram pro inferno.
The two pilots fly home and spot their
Buy your
airbase,
tea.
and Canario goes in for an approach. He drops the landing gear, and with great skill and precise control, side-slips the aircraft towards the runway. But then, a message comes through. It's the control tower.
Abort.
Canario almost instinctively pulls up. Canario was told by the tower that the runway was needed for an emergency landing, and the Thunderbolt had to enter a holding pattern.
Droga, não conseguem ver, eu tô com asa só.
He's the one with the emergency.
He's forced into several unstable turns over the base, but is finally cleared to land.
That's insane.
He hits the ground
You
hard.
don't want to mess with shit like this. Like a wing is missing. You don't know the structural integrity of that. It's surprising made all the way here. What if it disintegrates at the last moment? You don't want that shit. And that close to the ground, he can't even eject or anything. Could they eject back then? I don't know. This is just fucked up.
With
course they
heavy
can eject,
force,
right?
but the landing gear holds strong. Slamming on the brakes, his plane rolls and shakes down the runway. Finally, in a cloud of dust, the P-47, or what's left of it, comes to a halt. Raimundo da Costa Canario would survive the war and return home to Brazil. Incredibly, his aircraft was repaired and served for 50 more missions before the end of the war.
My plane wasn't the only one to land with heavy damage. Watch this film where a B-17 was rammed by a
How many videos has he made, man? This is so good. Man, a 10-minute video where I love this shit. Every single second of it. Imagine the Spitfires if they had actually taken him down and going back. Like, come on, man. RAF would be all their ass, right? Like, what the hell? You didn't take out Germans? Spitfires of all. I love this shit. Right, well, that was when a Canary hunted tigers and lost a wing. Canary is the name of the guy, I guess, not the plane. Yeah. This was called Yarnhub. If you like my next one, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.